Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another review. Today I'll be talking about a book that I've been really excited about. The Disappearance of Stephanie Mailer, not to be confused with Stephanie Meyer, by Joel Dicker. He also wrote one of my favorite detective books ever, The Truth About the Harry Cabert Affair. Yes, I pronounce it Cabert. Prove me wrong if you don't think this is how you pronounce it. So, this novel is about the disappearance of someone called Stephanie Mailer, surprisingly. So this is kind of a cold case and a current case together. In 1994, in this quiet little town in the Hamptons, 4 people were murdered, and the case was investigated and solved, or so we thought. You see, 20 years later, in the book's present, a reporter called Stephanie Mailer reaches out to one of the detectives who worked on the case and tells him that they were wrong, that the real murderer is still at large. But soon after, she disappears. So now Jesse, said police detective, has 2 mysteries on his hand. Was he really wrong about a 90s murder? And if so, who really killed all these people? And secondly, what happened to Stephanie Mailer? He's joined by his old partner, Derek, and some new blood, Betsy, a new policewoman in town. And together, the trio tries to find some answers. Okay, listen. When you read a book by an author you really love, it's impossible not to compare this book to their other works. I will try to be as objective as I can with this book, but I'm only human. I really liked Stephanie Mailer. I think it's more than just a thriller. Similarly to Harry Cabert, it's a novel first and a detective book later. I really liked its complexity, its amount of characters who were all somehow intertwined with each other and all their backstories. And also, guys, I love cold cases. They are my soft spot. Those and these One Household Whodunits, these 2 are my favorite kind of detective books. And I do recommend this book, especially if you like mysteries but don't like reading another copy-paste flight book. But guys, it does not come close to Harry Cabert, a book that also has its share of issues and plot holes, but still a better one. But enough comparing it to a different book. I'll just talk now about Stephanie Mailer as a standalone, and after giving you some positives, I do want to talk a little about the negatives. The thing that bothered me the most about this book has to do with its strange jumps in timelines and narration. It jumps back and forth in time. Obviously, it is a cold case, and also people they interview have their own kind of flashbacks, okay. But the way it's done makes no sense. You will see a theme here of choices that aren't really bad in and of themselves, but in this case do nothing to actually serve the plot. So for the most part, Jesse is our narrator and his point of view is in first person. This is a great choice for a detective book because then we only know what the detective character knows and we can try solve the mystery with them, okay. But then, in the middle of Jesse's first-person narration, we'll get moments of what the other characters are thinking or things that happen when he wasn't in the room, so why do it? Now, in the past timeline, we mostly see things from Derek's point of view. Again, could have been a cool idea. We have 2 partners, one tells the 90s story and the other one the present. Okay, great. But in this case, it just didn't make sense. It just didn't work. You would jump to other people's narration, not only when they tell their story, but just the narration felt all over the place. Seriously, he should have just made it into this general third-person narration. Another thing is that after a while I noticed that I had a hard time following who narrates the story. First, with so many different narrators, it was hard to follow, but more than that, the problem was that the first person narration had no personality, no soul. There was no difference between Jesse's voice, Derek's voice, even Betsy's voice. Yes, they were men and she's a woman, but they all felt like they act and think in the exact same way. So again, I'm asking, why? Why give multiple people a voice to tell their own story when, other than just being there when the thing happened, there's absolutely no change in way of talking, personality, voice? Even outside of narration, all our three protagonists don't have any distinct different personalities. The whole point of the buddy cop genre is to have clashing personalities who have to work together, and each one of them brings something different to the table. It just doesn't happen here, which is such a waste. Another strange choice has to do with all those many characters. I am still standing behind my comment about how I liked the fact that there were so many characters and backstories, but some of them have so little to do with the plot. Then again, I asked myself, why? Why have them there? There are characters who come into the story in the middle, and I kept thinking, they look so unrelated. How are they going to be important to the plot later? The answer is, they weren't. They do play a little part, and the characters behave in a way that very strongly hints that there is a tragic backstory here. And then we find out what it is, and guess what? It has nothing to do with the overall plot. In itself, the story is interesting, but it shouldn't have been here. So, let's conclude. I honestly feel that if I hadn't read Harry Caber first and knew of Dicker's talent, I would have probably been harsher on this one. It's a rather good novel, it's just not as good as I expected. But if you like the more complex, longer, more novel-y detective books with a bunch of twists and turns, I still give this one a big thumbs up. And that's it for my review, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumb up, subscribe to my channel if you dare, and write in the comment section if you read either Stephanie Mailer or Harry Caber, and if you have an author that you on one hand really love, but on the other hand also had some rather awful books. For me, I think it would be Kim Newman. I still want to read pretty much every single thing he writes, but I can't say I enjoyed every single thing I've read. So guys, again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.